Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chakravasudev, and a consultant neonatologist. This is
Hello, my name is Shelley Bailey, Assistant Chief Nurse at Bradford Teaching Hospitals.
And I'm Carol Hudson. I'm a neonatal nurse practitioner on the neonatal intensive care unit.
So it's such a great privilege and honor to represent the wonderful team we work for, at the same time sharing our experience of developing something that we think has significantly improved our patient experience, parents' experience. So for those of you who haven't seen a neonatal unit, it's quite a frightening environment for parents if they are walking in for the first time. We are a reasonably big neonatal unit. We have about 600 to 800 admissions a year, and we are a regional neonatal intensive care units as well. So we get babies born elsewhere coming to us from all over Yorkshire. We have the privilege and the pressure to care for some of the most vulnerable babies, preterm baby, and look after parents. We often say that we just don't look after babies, we look after families and parents. And a birth of a preterm baby or an unwell newborn baby causes so much anxiety, not, with the parents, and often the mothers are quite unwell. That's the reason why they've had a preterm baby. And there is a great degree of separation that happens around the time of admission, that the parents don't feel like it's their own baby. They have to trust us with the baby. And often what normally happens is that babies are admitted from delivery suite. We try our best to show the babies to families, but because they're small, they get cold, they need a lot of invasive stuff, so we move them very quickly to the neonatal unit. And often the visit to the unit by the parents is restricted by baby's condition. Often they have lines put in, so they're covered in drapes, so they can't see them. Often the mothers are recovering from a surgery, high blood pressure, bleeding, all that. Increasingly, we get more babies who are born elsewhere, and mums are recovering in the home hospital, and we'll have a baby miles away from them. And sometimes it also depends on how busy intensive care is. It might be difficult for us to support families visiting. And our recent Pickett survey did highlight that we could do even better in making parents or the babies feel more accessible to parents. And our vision when we started was to enable, with so many, we use social media, video conferencing so often in our lives, there should be a way of enabling this with the security and all the other aspects of it, both for parents as well as extended families. We believe that it will enhance parent experience in making them feel closer to their babies, reducing anxiety as well as improve bonding. And we know that, especially for the preterm babies that we look after, breast milk is an important component, and often the disruption that causes in bonding actually has deleterious health outcomes as well. So we got together as a team. Shelley is going to talk us through the next process.
Can I drive?
Yeah.
Thank you. So we introduced ourselves as our other teammate Steve there on the slide, who couldn't be with us today, but we've got to acknowledge he's absolutely part of this team. So the development of this team, I think it was, I'll pick up on your point, I'm immersed in, I don't like to call myself a bean counter, but I'm immersed in NHS management, I'm immersed in KPIs. This project has been one of the best projects I've ever been involved with. I was approached about this idea and how we could maybe take this forward. It's a collaborative project, it includes informatics, it needed support from information governance, it needed support from finance, and most importantly our clinical colleagues from the neonatal unit. So to talk around the informatics challenges, we needed to ensure that the technology we used was safe, reliable. This is obviously a very sensitive time. We needed to, if we were offering this service to parents and families, we needed to be assured that it wouldn't let us down. We needed that reliability. It had to be not too costly. We made a very successful bid to our charities who supported this project for us, and it needed to be absolutely confidential because obviously the nature of what you are dealing with the patients and families. So we had a lot of information governance and a lot of kind of policy and process at the back of it, and as far as information was concerned, we needed full support from our team, and hence that was Steve on the picture. we had to do a lot of technical validation and monitoring to just reassure ourselves, and more importantly, our leaders within the organisation, that what we were doing was safe and secure. Carol?
So to actually achieve the goal, it was quite a long process, and it probably took about 18 months to get off the ground in total, and that was because a lot of the scoping work and a lot of the technical work that went on behind the scenes. But some of the things that we did on the shop floor, well, as informatics, were looking at the technicalities, was actually finding out what parents wanted, whether this would be something that would be useful to them, and actually what the staff felt about it. And if you put a nurse in front of a camera and say speak, they really, really don't like it. They're just not a fan. And so there was a little bit of, am I sure I really want to do this? But actually the parents were really, really enthusiastic, and we've got our Bliss volunteers. So these are a group of people who work with parents, and quite often the people who have had premature or sick babies themselves, so they know where these ladies are coming from, where these families are coming from, and so they were able to identify with them, and more or less 99% said that it would be something that they would really like. And I think Shelley herself, she didn't mention it, but she was the mother of preterm twins and didn't get to see them for 24 hours apart from a little Polaroid. And that's not where we've come from historically. So to have something that allowed them instant access to their baby during the time of procedures, to actually speak to staff. And Chakra mentioned that we were getting parents from outside of areas, so sometimes the mums and babies didn't actually come across together. So it was, all our staff were really, really enthusiastic and keen that this would be something that we could do. So speaking to parents, we'd ask them, is it something you'd like? And one mum, not only did she say yes, it absolutely is, she wrote an A4 side and said, please, this is my experience. And what she said to us was that she'd had an experience. Her baby was born at 24 weeks and he was with us for a really long time. And there was about 4 or 5 days that she couldn't visit because she was ill herself. So her husband had been coming in, but actually she couldn't see her baby. And she'd said to him, please, 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 can you just use FaceTime? Can you show me him? Can I look at him? And she said, I know we're not allowed to use phones, and I know we're not allowed to use videos in the nurseries because of techniques of safety, information governance, making sure that other babies didn't get into the screenshot. But she was really keen that she wanted to see the baby, so the nurse actually provided her with a safe area. She pulled the screens round and they had some FaceTime, and she said, just seeing him made me feel so much better, but actually being able to see the nurse and actually see her face when she was telling me what was happening made me feel that it was real, that what she was saying was, I could look at her face and say, yes, I know that she means this. She's not just saying it to make me feel better. I could see him and I could see her, and it was just such a positive experience. And I think that tugged on all of our heartstrings and made it something that we wanted to do with even more determination. So we had some challenges, so the right patient, the right timing, technical problems, troubleshooting, and technology is always a little bit difficult, isn't it, when it's a new piece. So actually getting it into the nursery, passwords, making sure that we were covered from information governance. And we've put attitudinal there, but actually once it went into the nurseries, there were very little attitudinal challenges from the nurses or from the doctors. And it evaluated really, really, really well. So we got 100% positive feedback from all the parents, and from all of the nurses. So these are just evaluations from the parents, but actually when you speak to the nurses, they describe such emotional moments where they've used the baby view to bring parents together. We had one baby who was born at 24 weeks in York, and his mum was really ill and she couldn't actually come across for about 3 days. So we set the monitor outside of the incubator, just focused it on the baby, put it on mute so she couldn't hear the conversations that were going on in the background, and York Hospital provided her with an iPad that she could just sit and look, and every time she woke up she'd look at the iPad, had a look at him. We could sort of see her, we could see her sort of falling asleep and then looking up and making sure he was okay, and that was just so beautiful. We had another mum who was ill upon the postnatal ward and couldn't come down to visit her baby. Her baby was seriously ill, and she'd asked him to be christened, but at the time that the christening took place, she couldn't actually be there because she was so ill, so we were able to link the christening and the mum together. And another baby, so a nurse wrote a really emotional piece for us about a baby who sadly did pass away, and his grandparents were never going to get to meet him. They were on holiday in Spain, and we were able to link the grandparents and the family and this baby so that the grandparents could get to say hello and goodbye to him. And so those are just some of our experiences and just why we feel so passionate about it.